Happy Halloween! And you know we're talking about this. So welcome back, should I say, to Cinema Nasty with me, David, and my co-host Adam, who look at his little excited face. Because one, it is Halloween, and we are discussing Halloween.
This is Halloween, the Halloweening.
I'm pretty sure. Do you know if they'd stuck with the original sequel plan? At least one of them would have been called Halloween, the Halloweening.
Or at least the Halloweenery.
So we're going to be discussing the Halloween franchise, starting, with John Carpenter's 70s below budget indie cult favorite, all the way up to a very brief discussion on Halloween Ends, because it's still new. I don't want to do too many spoilers. I'm pretty sure Adam hasn't seen it. Adam, what do you really remember about the first time you seen Halloween?
It was just slow moving and
Yeah.
I'd mask big. I mean, to be honest, I would have seen it when I was a kid, and I guess the creeping horror thing was never maybe as strong on me, just because I was traumatized by other childhood films.
See, that's where I think me and you have a bit of difference here, because Halloween was one of those franchises I didn't get into until I was a teenager. Like, as a kid, I had Jason, I had Freddy, I had Leatherface, I had Hellraiser, etc. Halloween, because once I kind of fell into horror movies because after my grandfather died, I spent weekends with my grandmother, and she loved horror movies, but she hated Michael Myers because she thought he was a boring prick. So I didn't get to see the first Halloween movie until it was a Halloween double feature. Were you there for that? The QFT. It was Halloween and yeah, that was it. Yeah. So the first time I seen Halloween was that double feature, which was that and what was it? It was The Fly, wasn't it? Cronenberg's?
And the Fly doesn't need to.
Lovely. Oh, fond memories. So seeing that for the first time, it was with a big group of people who were into horror movies and maybe got too many laughs. Like at the end, oh, she's finally killed him, and he sits up. The entire cinema burst out laughing. Because, and also, it's Donald.
Well known and
yeah.
well trodden.
Like I remember seeing Friday the 13th, in the QFT, or the Evil Dead in the QFT. You get way more laughs than you're expecting, because it's horror fans, and horror fans have certain buttons that make them giggle. I am starting to worry that I'm slowly looking more like Donald Pleasance's Sam Loomis the older I get. The hair is going, the goatee keeps coming back in. Will he be the creepy psycho I chase down and shoot 6 times? So, Halloween 1 ends with, the cliffhanger of he goes out the window, oh, he's disappeared. Spooky.
The horrible thing has disappeared. I wonder what became of him.
Immediately to the sequel. I still love the fact that the mask is Kirk. It's a William Shatner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I only found this out recently. Do you know what mask comes from? So it is a Halloween mask. During the 70s, you could have gone out and got a Captain Kirk mask, but William Shatner refers to it as his death mask, because during Star Trek they made a mold of everyone's faces for I have to be hurt, or I have to be made to look old, or something like that, and then they just made the molds and put them out as masks. So it's him, just Shatner, like, get this over with, turned into a horror icon. I wonder how he feels about that, though. Knowing Shatner either really, really, really flattered or really fucked off.
No, I think that's one of those ones he just takes as funny.
It is
But
him.
there's another thing to this mask. It's been in 14 different movies now, which is why, once we're done with this bit, I will be timing you on your plot setup for each movie, because I can't remember them all.
Okay, here's the thing. There's plot setup and which canon is which. Because unlike most horror franchises, which are either there's the canon and then there's the remake canon or whatever, Halloween, the only one more complicated than it is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Because they're all over the place.
You McConaughey can't complain about the Texas Chainsaw.
Wait, were you going with because of McConaughey?
It's reasonably clear I'm talking about tow truck McConaughey.
I know, with the remote control legs. Getting back into it. I'll try.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Let's do this. Okay, a rundown of each plot.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, Halloween 1. Michael Myers, he's a kid. He sees his sister getting a bit freaky with her boyfriend, puts on a clown mask, and he kills her. 16, 17 years later, he escapes from a mental institution and knows how to drive. That still annoys the beck out of me, because he's like a 10-year-old, and then he knows how to drive. He steals Sam Loomis's car, who then Sam Loomis hunts him down with a gun, and he slowly kills off a variety of, I'm the stoner dude. I'm the slightly slutty girl. I'm just another gay babysitter, until he meets Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and then she kind of survives by stabbing him with knitting needles and coat hangers and a knife at one point. Then Sam Loomis shoots him 6 times and he falls out a window. The end. That's Halloween 1. How did I do for
that? Was 47 seconds.
Okay.
Nicely done.
47 seconds. Listen.
Now, let's discuss quickly.
Okay, go on.
We had all the tropes. Everybody died. Stoner kid.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else had the knitting needles. Nice touch. I mean, let's face it. Your granny's good to know once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we had standard savior ending followed by cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, so this started the trope of the virgin surviving, or the final girl. Final girl. That's better. Virgin final girl, right? Because Laurie Strode, she didn't. Well, no, she smoked a wee bit of weed, but doesn't really count. But you know, she didn't drink, she didn't party, she babysat, and she was a good girl. I said in quotation marks because saying that nowadays makes you sound like a creep.
Round 2.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Literally 3 minutes after the first movie, they realize, okay, he's gone. Where the hell's he going? Sam Loomis is like, I shot him 6 times, and just reloads and gets ready to go. Laurie, understandably, is taken to hospital, where she spends a lot of the movie because she got the crap kicked out of her by a 6'5" psychopath. During the hunting down, some guy who's dressed just like Michael Myers, except that's a blonde wig, gets run over by a police car and it explodes. So that's one casualty by accident. Michael ends up in the hospital, starts hunting people down. He stabs a woman with a scalpel and manages to lift her with it. Don't know why. On the way there, the nurse from the first movie tells Dr. Loomis, by the way, it turns out Laurie Strode is his sister. Bum bum bum. And he's trying to kill her because, you know, he likes to kill his sister. He gets there, she manages to get Loomis's gun, shoots both of Michael's eyes out. Everyone forgets that bit. And then Loomis blows himself up with Michael. End of movie. Halloween 2. Done.
101.
That's not too bad.
Not bad going.
Thank you.
As for suspending someone from a scalpel, could in the right exact circumstances be possible. Bear in mind, people do enjoy being hung from meat hooks.
We're talking about Hellraiser at a different time.
No, I mean for real.
I know, and that's... Where the hell do you think Hellraiser got the idea from?
Where do you think that? I mean, that's like asking where David Carradine would have went if he hadn't, made that mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's just don't Google that. Don't. You'll be okay if you don't Google that.
This is my hand grenade.
So this was the last Halloween movie that John Carpenter had anything to do with. So he directed the first one, and he wrote Halloween 1 and 2 with Deborah Hill, who is a very well-known producer. Okay, Halloween 3.
1, 2, 3.
Has nothing to do with Michael Myers, but this is back when they were doing it's going to be a different story each time, because it's a Halloween story, it's a different horror film each time. This one's about aliens or a coven of witches with Stonehenge making Halloween masks which kill kids when an advert goes on. Done. I'm serious, that's it. That's the movie.
15 fucking seconds. That was a time in the world where, taking a lot of coke and directing a movie was definitely a thing. This time he was just taking loads of crack and
that was
crack.
Just because we must have to say that was written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Okay. Halloween 4?
4, go!
Okay, so Halloween 4, little bit of a wreck on this. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So at the end, instead of the end of Halloween 2 where Loomis and Michael died, only Laurie is now dead. Main character is her daughter, she's about 5 years old. Michael turns up out of nowhere, hunting her down, because it's his thing, kill a family member. And ends with him being shot and thrown down a well, and then her putting on a clown costume and killing her mother. As Loomis screams, "No!" Done.
31 seconds.
But yeah, this is the first part of the Thorn trilogy.
It's a bit weird having a trilogy within a series, but at the same time, that's not uncommon whenever you give the format of reboots its presence. What am I going to say about that apart from the reintroduction of the clown costume?
Honestly, it was a nice tie into the original thing of there might be something linked to the family, and she's also in a clown costume murdering someone on Halloween.
3, 2, 1.
Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. So, turns out he didn't die, he fell out of the well and got nursed back to health by a hermit who he then murdered. The wee girl, the daughter of Laurie Strode, is in a mental asylum because, she stabbed her mother to death. and she has a psychic connection to Michael. Shenanigans ensue. He hunts her, ends up with them in the Myers residence. They capture Michael, but Loomis kind of has a stroke instead of killing him, and Michael gets arrested. End of the film, a man who's in a dark coat and a hat breaks in the police station, kills everyone, and frees Michael. Done.
102.
That one had a wee bit more stuff to deal with.
That one has some X-File vibes to it.
I know.
I mean, like, you gotta think the smoking man's the same guy.
Okay, no one you didn't know who he was? Yeah. That was 1989. This movie's the same age as me. Give or two a month. October 13th, 1989. Now, I'm going to tell you this now. The next one's going to take longer than that minute. Because there's so much stuff in the next one.
Are we gonna have a drum roll?
Go ahead, give me a countdown or a drum roll. Give me something.
Go!
Okay, this is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. So, it's time jump. This turns out the man in the hat was involved with a cult who has kidnapped Michael and Michael's niece, really, Lofi Records' daughter. So she's now a, woman in her 19 to 22. She's had a baby, which is implied to be Michael's, and she escapes the cult, hunted by Michael. She hides the baby in a bus station and then runs away. She ends up getting killed by Michael. Now, the person who finds the baby is the kid who Laurie was babysitting in the first movie. It's Tommy, all grown up, played by Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, Ant-Man, everything. Yeah, it's Paul Rudd. It's like, hey, it's Paul Rudd, hey!
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, who is kind of like a weird obsessed thing about Michael. He's got like a whole, like a corkboard of this, and he's got baby, okay, and it turns out it's this cult called the Thorn who every Halloween gets a person to sacrifice to turn into this thing that must kill their family for reasons. And yeah, him and the Strode, who's currently living in the house, Michael's old house for reasons, go find Sam Loomis, who, by the way, is just retired. He's living his best life. He's just like, screw Michael. I'm in a cabin in the woods. I'm writing my memoirs. Big showdown with the cult. Michael kills the cult because it's like, we can control him. Not really. Turns out the guy in the long coat and the hat, turns out he's the guy who ran the facility Michael has been stuck in from when he was a kid. Which actually was pretty cool, because like Loomis is like, you knew this whole time. No, there's two different endings. One is crap.
But who doesn't keep family pictures, though?
Fair point. So there's two endings, one of which is just, and it ends. The other one is Paul Rudd stops Michael with a bunch of magic stones with runes, but it turns out it's not Michael, it's the guy who was in the black hat and stuff. The guy who owned the cult, who passes on the mark of the thorn to Loomis, so Loomis must now protect Michael for the rest of his life. And Michael walks away in the trench coat and the hat the guy had. But there's okay, so that you can stop me there. That's both endings of the movie.
2:15 time.
How long was that?
2:15. 2 minutes 15
Not too
seconds.
bad. Not too bad on how to bring it on top of that damn cult.
No, I mean, a lot happened in that.
Yeah. Now the reason they cut the original ending with Loomis being magically linked to Michael was the actor died, and they thought maybe just not. Literally, the end of the picture of Michael's mask on the floor with Loomis screaming with nothing else doesn't explain anything.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah.
The cult thing's an interesting game. I feel like the more you explain Michael, the less it makes sense.
Here's a kid who just one night snaps and turns into that. So that was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, September 29, 1995. So it went from 1989 to 1995. That's how long there was between those sequels. The next one is going to be Halloween H2O, 20 years later, from 1998.
Uno, dos, tres.
Okay, forget everything I've just said. This one is a direct sequel to Halloween 2. Remember I told you earlier the timeline gets buggered up? This is it. Laurie Strode, not dead, is living as a teacher under a fake name, who has a run-in with a woman who's played by her actual mother. That's such a kind of nice little cameo. She's currently raising her teenage son, played by baby Josh Hartnett. Look at him, he's adorable. And Michael turns up. Now, this one gets interesting because they've still got the whole brother-sister thing, but midway through the movie, and this is why Act 3 is like, even if you don't like the movie, watch for Act 3. She kind of like gets everyone else away and she starts hunting Michael through this school. So you're like, Michael, run. End of the movie. This might be a bit spoiled, but I don't care. It's amazing. He gets taken down, and he's put in an ambulance. Laurie takes a fire axe and steals the ambulance because she knows he's going to get back up. She's driving along slowly, talking away to herself, and she watches in the rearview mirror just as Michael sits up in the body bag and she slams on the brakes. He flies out the front windscreen. He stands up and she runs him over, runs them both off a cliff. And then she gets out of the thing, she's beaten, she's bloody, she's got the axe. And he's stuck there pinned, reaching for her, and she cuts his fucking head off with a fire axe. The end. It's fucking amazing.
1 minute 11.
Oh, I didn't even mention LL Cool J was in that movie.
Cool J turns up in some interesting places.
So that was Halloween H2O from 1998. That was like the perfect ending to the franchise. They could just ended it there. It would have been great. It got a sequel. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be salty the entire time.
This is a slight pause. You're gonna edit out, yeah?
Okay.
I need to close the window.
Go ahead.
There's some Halloween ass shit going on outside.
Take a drink. Need some water. David, remember to edit this shit out. Halloween Resurrection. You're gonna have me being salty for a good minute, because this movie is, in my opinion, the worst Halloween movie. And I do not have a high regard for the zombie movies. This one is the worst. Just give me a countdown.
1, 2, 3. Alonzi!
Okay, remember the really cool ending where it ended with, hey, she kills Michael. Turns out, retcon, it wasn't Michael. It was just some ambulance driver. He broke the neck, broke the windpipe off, and just hid. So the guy who crashed their window stood up, and they got rammed off a cliff, decapitated. No one. One of the best endings in modern horror cinema, or say modern, the 90s, retconned into a crappy thing. So Laurie, after murdering a guy, is now in a mental institution where Michael turns up. She traps him, but she goes under the mask, and she gets stabbed and thrown off a building. That's how they kill Laurie Strode in the movie. It's terrible. The rest of the movie is, what was it again? Oh, who is it? Who? Oh, no, Busta Rhymes. That's it. Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks are like a weird producer's like, we're going to do a Big Brother experience in the old Myers house where all these hidden cameras, people wearing them on their heads because like, ooh, it's 2002. This is the kind of shit people like. And then Michael Myers turns up, she's killing people. The movie ends, and I swear to God, this is how the movie ends, with a karate fight between Michael Myers and Busta Rhymes. You can end it there because I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I hate that movie so much.
Man, you're mad about that movie. I'm not sure if people are going to get just how mad you are right now. The tone Dave's giving across, you got to understand, he's generally theatrical.
Yeah, but I fucking hate this movie.
That right there, that is furious, Dave.
This is David being angry nerd rage, which I try not to get because it's nerdy stuff. You really shouldn't get angry with this stuff. But on to the next movie. Coincidentally, it just turns out it came out on my birthday, August 31st, 2007. This is Halloween by Rob Zombie.
This is the day Dave could legally drink.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Dave's gonna need to do some math right now. It starts with 3. Ooh. It goes to 2. And then it goes to 1. And it's go time.
It's a remake of the first movie. The only real addition is they try to explain Michael. Like the first third of the movie is, here's young Michael. He's bullied. He's in a dysfunctional family. He kills animals. He puts on a mask, kills his sister. Then the rest of the movie almost plays out scene for scene like the original. The only difference is that they openly drop in the whole it's his sister early on. The only thing I will genuinely say about this movie is I like their casting as Sam Loomis as it's Malcolm McDowell. Would you like a bit of the old ultra-violence? And also it ends with her shooting him in the face point blank range with a pistol.
47 seconds.
Yeah. Look, I don't hate the Rob Zombie Halloween movie. I don't. You know, if it's on a Friday night, I'll watch it. I think the guy that got to play Michael was good. Tyler Mane, he's famous for playing Sabretooth in the original X movie. He plays Michael, and he does quite well because he's a big guy. This is what I will say about Rob Zombie is Halloween was not the franchise he should have. I think he should have. Rob Zombie, I think he could make a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially after, what did you call it?
Okay, let's list off the name of Rob Zombie movies which make a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell.
Devil's Rejects is the one I think of because it's basically
that family. It's basically the family from the Sawyer family.
It has the right vibe, but the other thing is it injected some kookiness to it that really sold it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to turn around and say that's the pinnacle of filmmaking or anything.
Oh no, no. Look, right. Rob Zombie, do you know? I like a bit of the Dracula now and again, but you know. So yeah, okay. Do you know what? It's not a terrible remake. I would count it up there like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake or the Friday the 13th remake. They're not terrible, and they can be fun for a horror movie. I'll actually say the Friday the 13th remake's actually good. But you know.
Okay, let's say we start up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went a little like this, and then we went like this, and then we went like this.
That was Resurrection, wasn't
Where
it?
are we now? Are we up here? Are we down here? Where are we?
Okay, out of 10, I would give this a bouncing between 6 and 7.
Okay, so we're back to about middle ground.
Yeah.
Right, this is us halfway through the series. So far we've went like this. We've went...
Hit rock bottom with Resurrection. I got a wee bit up for this. Then there's the sequel.
Would you like your countdown, sir?
Yeah, sure. This is going to be a quick one as well.
2, 3...
Okay. Okay, the first third, it was like maybe third of the movie, because it's not a long movie. It really isn't. It's actually, that's one of the best things about it. It's quite short. Is a remake of Halloween 2, where he's hunting her through the hospital. Turns out it's a dream. And it's a year later. She's recovering physically and mentally because Laurie, this is the version of Laurie, really has just been traumatized. And she's Dr. Sam Loomis, Malcolm McDowell, writes a book about Michael and casually just puts it in that she's Michael's sister, and that's how she finds out. She reads the book. During this time, Michael's just wandering about being a weird homeless guy, puts his mask back on, sees visions of himself as a kid with his mother and a white horse. Slash kill, ultra violence, because this is Rob Zombie at his most kind of, no, I don't like it, too violent, too, ends with Michael dead, Loomis dead, and Laurie in an asylum. Seeing a vision of her mother with a white horse. And I don't really get, it felt almost Lynchian of, here, the white horse represents death. But unlike, David Lynch will just throw it up to, do a quick thing, they really, it's not, like Rob Zombie can make a fun movie, this is not it.
And there's that one in 103.
It's not the worst Halloween movie, but it's better than, this is my best review for it, it's better than Halloween Resurrection.
The Resurrecting.
Rob Zombie, I'm saying this just in case he ever does see this, so he's not going to, but hey. Your first one, decent. Second one, You've made better movies, that's all I'm saying.
You were fucking told, Rob.
For a man who makes a lot of horror movies, he's never done a zombie movie, and that really annoys me.
Are you ready for Halloween?
Okay. This is Halloween from 2018. The third film in this franchise, simply called Halloween.
Oh.
Retcon again. The only movie you need to worry about is Halloween 1. They're no longer siblings. Laurie Strode is, basically Sarah Connor. She's got the gun, she's a bit mad, she's had a daughter and she's got a granddaughter. Michael very much Michael broke out, had his killing spree, immediately went to prison, and somehow, he's killed like 4 people, but he is the boogeyman still. A podcast go and chat to him, try to get him to show his mask. Ooh, it's scary, isn't it? He doesn't react. And then Michael breaks out. Goes on a killing spree. His new doctor gets him and then leads him to Laurie. Laurie and her... basically, Laurie's son-in-law gets killed off with hide no hair. And it's her daughter, and her granddaughter in the house trying to fight off Michael while... Shenanigans. Ends up with the daughter and the granddaughter in the panic room in the basement while Laurie, basically chases Michael around with a shotgun. Think of Halloween, the end of Halloween Resurrection, but with a gun. Blows off his fingers. This time she gets thrown out the window. The daughter ends up shooting Michael in the neck. They lock him in the basement, and they set fire to the building and they run away. End.
17.
The daughter's played by Judy Greer, one of these actresses who I really like. I think most people recognize her voice from Archer, but she always...
I think most people like Judy Greer, though, don't they?
Yeah, but in the first Halloween movie, she's kind of just there. She doesn't really get anything to do, other than, scream and get to shoot Michael in the throat.
That's not that long ago for her to be not doing it.
I know.
That's quite surprising to me.
Once again...
You made that one in 117.
Mm-hmm.
What I expected to happen was, I expected you to start up here, and for it basically to be a perfect downward trend, where you could explain the plot in shorter and shorter times.
I think getting these in and around
That's
a minute's
just
quite good.
completely untrue of this franchise. I mean,
I
what are we up to now? We're up to Halloween
this is this
9.
this is just yeah this is the 2018 one. I will say this though, this one was a good one. It is. No, the only thing that bothers me is the
In the last 3 years, there's been another 3.
no. There's been 2. There will be another one. Basically, yeah. They're making a new trilogy, which is Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. But COVID broke the out each year of the trilogy up a wee bit. So in 2018, this year we got part 2.
Okay.
The only thing that bothers me about the film is they still have this whole connection between Michael and Laurie, but without the sibling stuff, it's just like coincidental. It robs it robs a lot of the you and me. We're finishing this when it's like that's just some guy who messed with you when you were a kid, not your almost supernatural brother. No,
As like someone that irritated me at school, walking up to me in the street and being like, "Boy, it's Tim," and I'm gonna be like,
no, but then it's like you turn.
I don't recognize you.
Yeah, no, but with Halloween, this version, it'd be you turning around going, Brian, I've been expecting you and I've planned for this. It's like, it takes a lot of it out of it, which I kind of miss. No, I can do Halloween Kills. This is where there's going to be a giant spoiler warning, because this is quite a new movie. And Adam,
Spoiler.
thank you. Do you want me to do the Halloween Kills?
I'll count you in here. Go!
Okay, literally 5 minutes after the first movie, Laurie, her daughter, and her granddaughter are literally racing away in the back of a pickup truck. But then again, the fire brigade arrive at the house. Whoops. They put out the fire, and it's like someone falls into the basement. It's like, I'm here to help you. Grab my hand, and someone does grab their hand. And it's Michael. Michael just wipes the floor with them. One of those guys has one of those big giant, circular saws, and he gets it to the face. Michael just wipes them out. Michael is literally an unkillable juggernaut who's been shot at this point in time in his life, 8 times, missing a few fingers, and now covered in third-degree burns. Laurie in this movie does nothing because, as we pointed out, she had the living hell beat out of her, and she spends a bit of time in surgery and most time in a hospital room going Now, this movie's brought in kind of into 3 different bits. We have the daughter, Judy Greer, who has so much to do in this movie. She's proactive. She gets to do stuff. It's like, yeah, Judy, yeah. There's the daughter who kind of gets wrangled into the posse. The posse are the 2 kids she babysat in the first movie, and the nurse who used to hang with Dr. Loomis, getting a posse together to kill Michael. Doesn't go well for them. Michael has a hell of a time. Ends with the daughter in the house. Her boyfriend gets killed. She almost, she gets her leg broken. She's about to get stabbed by, this is the granddaughter, about to be stabbed by Michael. When Judy Greer, out of nowhere, with a pitchfork into Michael's back, gets on the ground. She takes his mask off, and then says, "Come and get me." She runs, gets chased by Michael, who, without the mask, he's keeping the shadows and things. You do see he's a bit burnt from the fire. And she just leads into the posse. Leaves the mask in the middle of the street and leaves. He puts the mask on, about 15 people come in on him. He gets shot 5 times, stabbed, and just people basically try to beat him to death. And then he gets back up and kills every single one of them. This man has been shot 20 times at this point. And the end of the movie is her, Judy Greer standing on, okay, wait, but there's a boy dressed as a clown in Michael's room. And goes and checks, oh no, Judy, no. And she stands, where's the boy? Michael's behind her. And the movie ends with her getting killed. And it's that's Halloween Kills. That's the end of the movie. Yeah. This one's kind of Marmite. A lot of people don't like it, but I loved it because I think
do you know the thing is?
Yeah.
I don't know that had that much more plot. I think it was just a plot you had to clarify as you went.
Yeah. There is a lot of plot I skipped around, the posse goes after the wrong guy at one point. It's another person who escaped Michael during his escape in the previous movie, and they accidentally kill him, etc.
2 movies ago?
No, it happened in the last movie. I remember this is its own little trilogy. And
yes.
I'm kind of annoyed.
Which trilogy's which trilogy?
Yeah, there's 4 of them at this point. But yeah, a lot of people don't like it because my biggest complaint about it is it's part 2. It feels like part 2. You can tell it's part 2 because it ends with the big cliffhanger.
Yeah, it doesn't stand on its own 2 feet.
It's
part 1 and part 3.
I think when the next movie coming out next year, Halloween ends, I think we're going to get a nice horror trilogy. Because it's done.
Unfortunately, that brings to the end me getting to make Dave speedrun Halloween plots.
Oh, we should do this again, like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. Cause that was quite fun. I will say this though: those films are being directed by David Gordon Green, but the guy who helped to write them surprises me. Danny McBride. Yeah, I know. It's like he's. I think. Yeah, I think he.
I wouldn't have called that.
Yeah, he's one of the writers. Like Danny, like him in comedies, like he's all right. But no one either having him writing or him having like a dramatic role, he works really well. Like Alien Covenant, not the best movie, but Danny McBride is good in it. Sorry, just give a shout out to Danny. I really thought you were good in, Alien Covenant. The Halloween franchise is a bit mad, and this one, it's like he's not a supernatural. Like I think the way the director says is like, he's not a supernatural character, but we're seeing from the point of view of his victims where he almost becomes one because all the stuff he can do.
I just always took it that his hatred was undying.
That's what he does. Literally have one of the characters go, Laurie, it's not about you. You were literally, it's like literally throwing in the whole, this is a coincidence, it's not about you. I think the exact words are, it's a 6-year-old boy with the strength of man who is evil. That is Michael. He doesn't need to be explained. He doesn't have to have a connection to anything.
This is the massive horror movie series equivalent of You're So Vain. Oh, what has happened to my brain?
So for the Halloween, what I call recommended watches, I would recommend you watch the first one. Second one, yeah, kind of. Halloween 3 is its own thing. It's one of those movies which is so bad it's amazing. It's got a nice big cult following. The Thorn trilogy is a bit, I wouldn't really recommend. H2O, yes, I would. If you're a Rob Zombie fan, watch his 2007 one, and I would recommend watching the new current ones. I think Halloween, actually, do you know what? Currently on UK Netflix, there's Halloween 1, 2, Season of the Witch, and I think the Thorn trilogy are all on UK Netflix with the 2018 Halloween. So you want to come and watch, this is a good time. And yeah. This has been fun to do. We haven't recorded it together by ourselves, we haven't recorded it long. This was fun.
This has been good.
I missed you.
I miss you too, honey.
Anyway, other than that, this has been fun to do. We're going to get back into this. We're going to do this more. Just trying to work out a way to say goodbye. It's hard to say goodbye. Just have Michael turn on the stab us.